Hey there. Today we're going to be talking about what you can learn from your WIP report. We're going to give a little bit of insights as to what someone would know about your business by just reviewing this one report. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Melissa with Atlas CFO. If we haven't met already, we help contractors with the financial side of their business, and today we're going to be talking about the WIP. I love to talk about the WIP. It's one of my favorite subjects. And if you've watched anything else on our channel, you know it's one of my favorite subjects. So the WIP report is a report that converts our normal jobs into the percent complete method for revenue recognition. I just said a whole bunch of words that may not have meant anything. What we're doing is we're taking out the timing differences on our jobs. You know how we might get a whole bunch of costs in and then later we build the job? What the WIP report does in percent complete accounting is smooth that all out so that it actually lines up with each other. I love the WIP report so much because it is the all-in-one report where you can see how you're doing on your jobs, how you're doing on gross profit, cash flow indicators, future indicators. It's just an awesome report. However, there are some common issues that we see whenever we're doing WIP analysis, and I wanted to point those out first. Number one, all your transactions have to be in for the month before you do the WIP report. If you produce the WIP report and then say, oh dang, I forgot, I need to input that billing, or I sent that billing, but I didn't get it in the software. Once you input that billing, you've got to update your WIP. So it is very important that your WIP is done once all the transactions are in. The second thing, and this is a tough one, is when we don't have accurate estimates for either our contract or our estimated cost. We actually have to know what our estimate is and what we think it's going to take to complete the project. Hey, us in accounting, we know it's an estimate, but we're looking for anything you can give us to tell us how you think the job is going to end up. From time to time, we see WIPs with improper calculations. You want to make sure that you follow the right calculations, the accounting calculations to do the true percent complete conversion on your WIP. And finally, another common issue is that the journal entry from the WIP doesn't get processed in the financial statements, and so you can't compare your WIP to your financials. You want to make sure that you get these items handled, because whenever we start analyzing the WIP and analyzing the financial statements, you can then make sure that you've got these issues taken care of and feel more confident about what you're looking at. So let me hit the high points of what we want to analyze whenever we are looking at the WIP. And spoiler, you're being judged on your WIP. You are going to hand that to someone, special surety, bonding manager, somebody that's special to you, and they are going to look at your WIP and make some decisions about your company. One of the first things that you can determine from the WIP of a company is their cash flow status. If they are highly underbilled, then they are a bank. Yes, if you are underbilled, you are the bank. You are funding the project. So you want to make sure that your underbillings are smaller and that they aren't systemic, that you don't always run in an underbilled position. Now, there are times and there are contractors where you just can't help it. You're a cost plus contractor. You have to build up costs before you can even bill it. That is all explainable, but it will tell you whether you are going to be in a cash surplus or a cash deficit just by looking at that column. By the way, underbillings can also be called cost in excess of billings or sometimes even contract assets. The other thing you can learn from the WIP is your profitability. The WIP shows gross profit right on the report, so you can look at how you are trending, your averages, whether you've got some highs and lows, all on this one report. Little another hint, your WIP gross profit should be about the same as your income statement gross profit. So it's another little indicator that you can use based on your WIP. If you compare prior month's gross profit to the current month's gross profit, you can do a profit gain loss calculation. So you can look at whether we are making more money than we used to on this job, or we are starting to see some profit fade. Not every WIP has this. It's not a requirement, but it is really insightful if you do add prior month's gross profit. And you can do that as a percentage or as a dollar. And finally, you can calculate the amount of backlog you have straight off of your WIP. You can know how much more you've got to earn out. And that calculation is something that is critical for our sureties and our bond managers. They actually need to know how much work you still need to finish on the jobs. And that can be calculated straight from the WIP. So I want to give you a couple more tips for analyzing your WIP. That last screen was really going to help you, and I just want to add a few more things. Accuracy matters. So if you've got estimates that are junky, if you've got your percent complete is over 100%, we can't really do that. Like a job can't be more than 100% complete. It's going to be tough to analyze. So you want to make sure that you're first and foremost making sure that your WIP is accurate. If you would like to add a little bit of something extra to your WIP, think about adding some additional columns. The biggest WIP I've ever seen, I think, was 36 columns. I don't know that you need to get that big, but maybe just a couple. You could add original to revised estimates. You could add something on a backlog calculator by job. You could even look at gross profit in the prior month, like I mentioned before. And last tip is pay special attention to this cash flow indicator. Being underbilled can put your company under cash stress for 30 to 90 days, depending on your cash flow cycle. So if you find yourself in a position where you are strongly underbilled, recognize that you are going to need some cash support, like a line of credit, during the time that you are heavily underbilled. Once you can push it over, maybe even into an overbilled position, then you would have more flow and more cash available. Thank you for joining me. If you like this kind of stuff, please sign up for our 7-day free boot camp for owners. It's all about financial statements. We have a WIP day because I love the WIP. Just so you know, all of our offers go through all of our subscribers on our email list. So if you'd like to work with us and like to know what we are putting out there, sign up for our boot camp and we'll make sure that you find out. Thanks for spending time with me. I look forward to seeing you soon.